Good morning. Welcome to the webinar. I am your moderator, George Zarepsky, and today we have with us Candace and Mark. Hey, guys.
Morning. How's it going?
Great, great. All right, so today we're going to be talking about setting up Aerēz for the first time. We've got a 90-second video that Mark put together for us, and we're going to talk about requested development updates. But before we get started, I'd like to let you know that if you're watching on YouTube, there's a chat box to the right that you can go ahead and drop your questions in, and we will get to them at the end of this video and answer all your questions. And if you're watching the recorded version, please take advantage of the comments section. Go ahead and leave any questions or comments you have, and we will reply if applicable. And you can also go to our website, aerez.net, A-E-R-E-Z.net, where you can click on a little chat bubble at the bottom right and ask us any questions you want, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible there as well. All right, so let's get started with Mark. Mark, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the video you put together. Now, this is a 90-second video designed for people when they first get Aerēz. Some may know the term unboxing video. It's kind of like that, and Mark's going to show us how to set it up. But we are going to do a post-production as well. We're going to package it up and throw it in our training section on our YouTube site. So we're going to go ahead and run through that now, and then we'll talk about it a little bit afterward. All right, so Mark, we're starting the video now.
Okay, so I think some people are assuming that this is kind of more difficult than usual, but let's say you just got your Aerēz in the mail and you're really excited about it, get that out of your system, finish being excited, and then open up the box. So what you're going to find inside is just the hardware items that you need to plug in. So what's there is our companion router. It's got a couple of ports, one internet port and 4 ports for plugging in additional devices. We provided an Ethernet cable just in case, and it's got a power cable. And setting up Aerēz is as simple as plugging in power and then plugging in the network. And the only question is, where is that network, and do I need to remove something, or do I add this also? So this here is a standard DSL modem. And you'll see on the back, there's already an internet connection into port 1. This is actually, even though the gray port there is for DSL, that was not used. That was used as a router instead. So we're going to add this as a router. It's another router. We plugged it in. It's good to go. So again, you just plug in power. It goes in the Aerēz companion router. We're going to plug in Ethernet to the internet port, and then plug that other end of the cable into your existing internet connection. And we're going to expand that video out a little bit and cover if you have cable modem, if you have fiber, if you have DSL, and we'll make it a little easier to understand. But you know, that's the preview there that we're going to have later this week, where we just explain how to plug that in and get you started. And then in the coming days, we're going to continue to add more training videos and tips and tricks on how to set up your Wi-Fi, how to pause the internet, how to do it for certain users, set bedtime blockers. Every feature that we have is going to have a training video associated with it.
Great, awesome. Yeah, so this is us making an attempt to kind of fill that void that some of our users told us that it seemed like it was going to be too hard, or not too hard, but maybe take too long to set it up. Again, they were geared up to be ready to do a long-term install there, and we want to show how quick and easy it is and give you some visual feedback on how to do that as well. So be on the lookout for those. We'll be getting that out shortly. And we'll also be contacting you guys that haven't set up yet to give you a hand walking through as well. All right, so with that, let's go over to Candace. Candace, tell us about these development updates we have. I've got a sneak preview of them, and looks really exciting. So yeah, let's take a look at that. Go ahead, Candace.
Where do you want to start off at? Devices?
Well, I'm
listing?
going to go ahead and switch over to our super snazzy phone view here. All right.
Okay.
So I've just opened up Aerēz, our test Aerēz. So I only have one user on here, and I have my 35 devices. I'm on my home screen right now.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about port forwarding updates last week, so we'll cover that in a minute here. So these are updates that we have on our test server that we will move them over to our production server probably later today. So beta testers, you will see these updates coming probably later today. So starting with devices, we've divided the device listing into active, inactive, and guest. It makes it just a little bit easier to easily and quickly see what devices are currently on your network. So it's basically the same listing that you saw before, just kind of divided out into an easier list format. So if you have a guest that comes over, connects to your Wi-Fi, you can actively see and manage that device. Or if you want to leave it out there for, if it's a repeat visitor and you want to create rules, it'll still stay there for when that person, that device comes to the house again. So do you have any questions on that at all, George? On the
No, but right
device
off the bat,
listing?
I'll tell you that this is a lot smoother, a lot cleaner for me, since obviously I do have so many devices, and having the separation between the guest, the inactive, and the active is actually making this list a lot more manageable for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm actually looking at the inactive now, and so the inactive devices. What is the trigger for that? How do I like? What determines what's an inactive device?
So I think it's a setting that if the device hasn't actively connected to the router in the last 12 to 15 hours, it goes into inactive mode.
All right, yeah, that makes sense. And so that way, if a tablet that I only use periodically for something, which I do have one that I use just for like our camera suite, and it just does like a photo booth thing, and I pull that thing out maybe once every few weeks. So that would
Right,
definitely sit there nice and neat in the inactive, and I won't be bothered with it when I'm going to try to pause my son's tablet.
right. Kind of clears up the clutter a little bit. So,
Yeah, no, that
um,
looks really good. So I'm interested in seeing this port forwarding feature now.
all right. So just find a device, and then I'll just go through the basic screens of it. And then I guess if Mark wants to talk a little bit more about the actual port forwarding process, he can jump in. So if you go into device management, device detail, you should see a link at the bottom, port forward.
So I'm looking at my Gibson supercomputer here, and
Okay,
I want to put out some websites. I want to have a web server hosted off of this thing. So
perfect.
I'm in the device detail. I'm going to click port forwarding there. All right.
So then it'll take you into a screen that'll show you any port forwards that are already been activated on that device. So if you don't have a port forward, then you can click the plus icon in the upper right or the add one link in the
All
interface.
right. I went for the plus icon.
Okay. So then the only information that you basically need to add in there is the port number.
So let me see a web server. Mark, chime in here. What kind of ports do I want to open up from a web server here?
Yeah, if you're doing standard HTTP, you want to forward port 80.
All right.
And then if you want to do HTTP and HTTPS, you would put 80 for one rule and then 443 for a separate rule.
So I'm going to want to do two different entries here. Do this 80 and then add it and then do my 443.
Correct.
Okay. Let me do
And
that.
then we also support adding a port range. So some servers like to say, hey, I want to use 100 ports. So 5,000 to 5,100. If you put a dash between two numbers, it will accept that as a range.
Okay. So let me add that as well. 5,000 to 5,000 and what? 20, 10. What's a good one? Let's do a 20.
And so a little bit about port forwards. If you don't know what they are, you probably don't need them. And our Aerēz companion router is fully compliant with universal plug and play. But despite it being labeled universal, not everything supports that to the same level and follows the same standard. So sometimes you need a port forward, which is a way to get better internet access to a device and let it run as like a server. So this is usable for things like Skype. Some game consoles want to have ports forwarded so that the games run better. And so if you have a need that says, hey, we need to do a port forward, this is the location that you come in Aerēz to enable that if it doesn't happen automatically for you.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I noticed that it wasn't echoing to the screen when I did it the first time. So I've gone ahead and I've deleted the ports that I just added, and I've just added them again. Pretty quick, straightforward. Seems like it's all working pretty seamlessly.
And I guess one other thing worth noting to the technical people, is that you'll notice you don't specify TCP or UDP, and that's done on purpose. We feel like in typical cases, you want to forward both, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to have to do that as separate rules. So we're trying to make this, again, as easy for the user as possible. So we just forward TCP and UDP for any ports that you specify.
All right. Awesome. Well, that looks great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for those updates. All right. So is there anything else that you wanted to discuss about the UI or development there, Candace?
I think that's about what we have for coming up today. And yeah, we'll keep you updated next week.
All right. So we've got training video update coming out for installing Aerēz once you get it. And I loved the video there, Mark. You seemed really excited about getting that box in the mail. So that was how I felt. It was almost like it was me running around there. I don't know how you knew. And then we have the updates to look forward to on beta. That'll be pushed out here soon. We'll be rolling that code. All right. Any last words from anybody?
Yeah, I got one more thing, I guess. On the port forwards for the technical people that do want and need port forwards, we know that you run multiple servers, and so we're going to add a translate feature in the next week or two also, so that you can say on the WAN side, I'm going to take in 4444, but that goes to web server number 1. And then I'm going to take in 5555, and that's going to go to a web server on number 2. So a translate feature is impending. We're just not all the way there yet on the user interface.
Oh, okay, so this is for the really high-speed folks that are running like multiple servers or have a lot of stuff going on that they need to forward there.
Exactly.
So it's important to know then these people would probably already know that. They need to make sure that Aerēz is doing the network address translation and that there's not another device between Aerēz and their internet connection. Otherwise, this is all for naught. Is that correct, Mark?
I wouldn't say that it's all for naught, but there are definitely more pieces of the puzzle involved. And if you're comfortable with all that stuff, great. We're giving you the tools to make all that stuff work. If you're uncomfortable with that stuff and you need some help, hit us up on chat or send us a mail. Get in contact with us, and we'll help you through it.
Awesome, great. And Candace, I think you had a saved round.
Basically, I was going to just tell our beta users if they're having any issues to contact us. If they have any ideas for feature requests, go ahead and send us an email. We'd love to hear from them. And thank you to those users who have given us feedback and testimonials this week.
Yeah, thank you, Eli. He's got that shiny new virtual $50 Amazon gift card. So have fun spending that. And like I said in the Facebook comments, be sure to go ahead and gift a Aerēz product for a friend or family with that money. And with that being said, our Kickstarter is almost to an end here. And we've got a lot of stuff that's been going on in the background, guys. So we're going to be putting out a lot of information here soon. We'll be continuing on with introducing the family members. The voting has gone for the little boy robot, so we'll have that published here shortly. And we're going to continue building out that family and using the family to help describe how Aerēz can tackle some of those woes and be used as a great tool and asset for parents when it comes to managing our home network, or anyone managing their home network. All right, so with that said, thank everyone for coming out. We do appreciate your time and patience for our beta users, and for Candace and Mark, we appreciate you guys taking the time to do this webinar with us every week. It's very valuable. And with that, we will see you all next week.
Have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care.